to our workshop.
You like
on
it?
this 20th day of May. Skipping ahead there. If the clerk could call the roll.
Commissioner Marker,
Here.
Vice Mayor Long is absent. Commissioner Casal,
Here.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns, Mayor Carney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, today we're having budget presentations. So, Mr. Moore, would you like to set us off, please?
Yes, sir. This is the fourth of four committed presentations. We had engagements in the month of April, one last May 6, 2025, and the final being today, Tuesday, May 20th at 3:30 p.m. And these are essentially your smallest office type operations. Of course, we've had the opportunity to visit about a couple different others. However, this is how we conclude today's dialogue. The discussions today will offer the Office of the City Manager, and I actually will go second because both myself and the Department of Communications actually have visual presentations, handouts, as well as a visual overview to help summarize the considerations for the upcoming fiscal year. Whereas the Department of Information Technology, the Office of the City Clerk, and the Department of Finance will simply have a oral discussion in terms of what's anticipated for fiscal year 2025 and 2026, not to mention the Office of the City Clerk as well. So this is the conclusion of the granular workshop meeting series for this particular consideration. Likewise, we look forward to June 10th, 2025, in which myself, along with Chief Financial Officer Henry Dakowitz, will outline for the Commission preliminary considerations as we finalize an aggregate proposed budget for fiscal year 2025-2026. Likewise, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give Director of Communications Gina Carter the opportunity to briefly outline and highlight what's in store for the upcoming fiscal year. Ms. Carter.
Good afternoon. I'm Gina Carter, the Director of Communications. I have provided you with something that looks like this.
It's lovely.
Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to go through it real quick because my department is pretty modest, so I think it'll be a very quick presentation. So first thing I want to talk about is just what our team looks like in communications. There's myself, of course. We also have a Public Safety Information Officer, which is Ted White. He handles public information tasks for Fire and PD. We have a new hire, a Public Affairs and Outreach Officer. We have a Digital Media Supervisor. I'm sure you guys all know him. His name is Ditmar. And then we have a part-time and a full-time Digital Media Coordinator position. So some of the things that we do are, we manage 13 social media platforms with 150 plus followers. We do digital newsletter, which has over 10,000 subscribers. We help IT manage the My Delray Beach app. We also have a magazine that is both digital and in print that has an average of about 7,000 readers. We also do a monthly one-pager for Atlantic Ave magazine, which is the state of the city. We manage a 300-plus page website. We also do internal communications for the entire city through our postmaster system. We do marketing, advertising, communications, graphic design, videography, photography, citywide for all other departments. And we also help coordinate and manage the Citizens Academy and the town hall meetings. And then the last thing that we do is we manage the digital billboards that are throughout the city, as well as the billboard that's on I-95. So we do.
Are we going to keep doing the Citizens Academies?
Yes, we are.
Because I thought they were really good.
Yeah, we're definitely going to continue to do them. Last year we did it in the fall. This year we're going to push a little bit sooner in the year and do it kind of like a late summer.
Yeah, they were really well done.
Yeah, I think everyone who attended was very happy with it. Yeah, we're definitely doing it again. So the other thing I want to talk about on this page is in the opposing corner, which is what's new for 2025. One of the things that the city manager asked my department to do this year that's new is to create a podcast, which we have done, and we are on the 8th episode now. So we're slowly building a library of podcasts, and it's proven to be very interesting to have these kind of casual conversations. Another thing that we have that's new is that this year we were awarded with the Florida Municipal Communicators Association Certificate of Excellence in Government Communications, and also local, thank you, and also local government communicator awards. So those two awards just speak to all the different things that our department does to stay on the cutting edge of municipal communications. And now we'll talk about the numbers, because that's why we're here. And my numbers aren't very complicated, so I just figured I'd show you the breakdown of how the budget is laid out. As you can see for 2025-26, we have 87% of my budget for communications is in personnel, and then we have 12% that's actually for operations. That's a little bit of a change from last year, and I think that we can really attribute that to the fact that, year over year, our staff gets raises, so we kind of have to adjust that percentage. For the ease of comparison, I've laid out where the money is going. We have very basic line items, like the website is 12% of our budget, subscriptions to things like Hootsuite and Constant Contact, tools that we use, that's another 15% of our budget. We spend about 2% of our budget on supplies, 13% on advertising. And if those percentages seem high, then you can look over to the side and see what the actual numbers are. Mm-hmm. So for this year, for advertising, just because that's where I left off, I'm proposing $14,000. That's $14,000 for advertising for the entire city. So you can see that our numbers are pretty modest, and we get a lot done with a very, conservative budget. What I'm proposing this year is really just moving a little bit of money around as compared to last year, and it actually comes out to a reduction of about 4%. So I'm asking for 4% less money this year for operations than I did last year. So, but I'll be happy to answer any questions about communications now, if you have any.
Any questions?
Sure. I would just say thank you. This is a lovely presentation. And I want to recognize your accomplishments on that third page, because I was going to ask you, how are things going at the school? And it's actually surprising that you've got so many students enrolled. 350 is a large number considering how long you've been at this. So thank you for that. And 120 classes. So the revenue that you've estimated is $93,500, and that's all for classes, do you think?
Classes, room rentals, and art supplies that we sell.
So that's probably underestimated based just on what you've currently generated is 63.
Well, I haven't actually gone into the art school's budget yet. I was going to go through it, but I'll tell you right now that we see more students in the fall and winter than we do in the summer.
I'm sorry, I was on page 3 and you're on 2. I apologize.
So I'll go ahead and go into that and explain what we're doing with that, because it is a separate budget.
Right, okay.
So speaking of modest budgets, let's talk about a creative arts school. So that is a team of one. I have one employee that is dedicated full-time to managing the programming at the school. And then she is helping me manage approximately 20 freelance art instructors. So at any given time, we're juggling a couple of dozen, contract employees. It's a lot of work.
Do we pay them?
Of course, yes,
Okay.
we pay them.
Yeah.
Yes, they all get paid. So the way that we pay them is they get paid based on how many students they have in their class.
Oh, okay.
So they get a percentage of the tuition. So what we've accomplished in the first 6 months is, like Julie so kindly mentioned, we've had over 120 classes and workshops. We've had 350 registrations. That doesn't mean 350 different people. It means 350 registrations. So we have some students that really enjoy going to classes there, and they take multiple classes, which is great. We've generated about $63,000. Most of that is tuition. A small percentage of it is art supplies. And then the other piece, which has been really interesting, is room rentals, because there's a lot of nonprofits that are art-based, and they need a place to meet. So that's another great way for the school to help pay for itself. We've held multiple art exhibitions. We've participated in every Friday art walk since we opened. We've had multiple open house events to engage with the residents and try to drive up the potential for new students. We've hosted many community events. And the one thing that I would say is there is one need that we've heard from multiple residents, and that is their desire for us to have culinary arts at the school. So the one change that I'm proposing for the Creative Arts School is a level of service request for a
Hounded you long enough, though. So.
many residents. So the one thing I'm proposing is a part-time culinary arts professional to come in and help me develop a program and find other freelance chefs, but mainly run the program and be responsible for the safety, cleanliness, and quality of the overall program.
We had that license, there were real issues with the county, you said, about getting, if you're gonna have cooking schools or things.
Yes, I mean, having a culinary arts program is very different from having a regular, a watercolor class. Nobody's gonna really get food poisoning or burn themselves or cut themselves or burn or cut their, other students. There's significant differences. So I really want a professional to be there
Right.
to help me build that program. So I'm asking for a part-time employee. And then the additional money, so that's $30,000 for a part-time employee, but I'm also asking for $10,000 to buy kitchen equipment. We have a kitchen, but we have no utensils, no pots and pans, no knives, no blenders, so we need to buy those things in order to run a program.
Do we know if they were there? I'm just curious whether, because I know the place was cleaned out, I'm just curious.
I don't think
Whether
so.
it's-
I think that's a Missy question, but since
doesn't
I've
matter,
been in the
just curious, just
building,
from my
yeah,
relative
since
view.
I've been in the building, it's been just an empty kitchen.
But you're gonna need new stuff anyways.
The other person we could check with is Renee, because remember, we got all that furniture from her. She has that warehouse of stuff that she's tucked away. I don't know if she's got kitchen equipment or not.
I'm happy to reach out to her, but
I'm
I
pretty
think,
sure we want, like.
I think for the
Well,
most
we
part,
got
we're
all
gonna.
of the equipment for
For
the
the one
for the
place she shut
classrooms.
down,
It was
right?
all for free. And
Yeah.
It's beautiful stuff.
I'd be happy to speak with her, and she did give us some tables when we first opened the school,
Here's a
so I'm
two-pronged
happy to
fork.
communicate with her. But I think realistically, we're gonna need to buy our own kitchen equipment. So that's really the only change I'm proposing. The graph over here shows you the breakdown of the administrative position versus the
Bless
money that
you.
we use for supplies. And like I said, it's a very small budget, so with the level of service increase that I'm requesting, it really only comes up to a little bit over $70,000 a year. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Oh, my mic is not on.
I just got a text, they can't hear you. That you're public.
They should be applauding.
You're public.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
She said she
You
was
heard
Any
me
done.
just fine.
questions?
Right, okay.
Are you finished or are you going to the next page?
I'm done. The last page is the numbers provided by finance. I just figured I would give that to you, so if you wanted to reference them, you could.
Commissioner Burns.
Well, yes, I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for such a comprehensive report, but I expected nothing less from communications. This is wonderful. And also on your accomplishments. I mean, in 6 months, and to get the art schools activated, this is an amazing work, so congratulations. And thank you
very
for
much.
what you do.
Commissioner Marker, anything?
Nothing other than to say thank you. I think you're doing an amazing job, and I'm so glad we got the classrooms open.
Yeah, I have nothing. I only speak when my microphone's off, so I got nothing to say.
Yeah, I would say the same. Thank you. And I'm excited about the cooking classes. Those are super fun when you cook with a group and then eat. It's
Well, and
a good
the
experience.
professors, when we first started talking about it, a while ago, a lot of the restaurants in town say, this would be something that they could also participate in, where they have, celebrity chefs taking classes and things like. It's going to be a great program, and it
Oh,
really
no,
is
I know.
a
Potential
it's
there.
going to be
Yeah.
a state-of-the-art facility.
Right.
You can't do a lot of students there, but you could do 10, 12, 15 maybe at a time. And it'll be I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'll sign up.
I think I'm signing up with the mayor for the
You
first
signing
class.
up for the
We'll have
hamburger
a
class?
cook-off.
I'm signing up for the real stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to be hosting some
He's
classes there
actually quite a cook.
on Italian. Yes, I know.
He
I
can
am.
cook.
I am.
Yes.
I did go to cooking school in France, so it sounds stupid.
You can be our first chef.
There you go.
Then you're worried about poisoning people.
I'm
Good,
coming with
good
you.
thinking. There you go. Take out the first class. Anyway, thank you very much, Gina.
Thank you.
Who do you have next? Yourself?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, if I may. Thank you, Ms. Gina Carter, and if I may, Information Technology, Office of the City Clerk in the Department of Finance. My presentation is fairly brief, representing the Office of the City Manager. It is a fairly cogent operation, albeit a fairly small budget. I actually have the presentation that I distributed copies to each of you all here at the dais as part of the screen overhead presentation as well, so that members of the public or anybody else out there can take a look at it. I thought it was appropriate to do so because my principal role and function is the entire organization. So this material does reference the fact that the City of Delray Beach operates via 15 line departments encompassing about 991 employees. different professions, different fields. You all know the scope of that, I think, fairly well as a full-service municipal operation. Interestingly enough, another principal role and function of the city manager is to propose a recommended balanced budget, and that involves the collaboration with the chief financial officer as well as individual departments to offer outcomes in this regard. And frankly, that's what we've been up to the past couple months now as we prepare for fiscal year 2025-2026. Nevertheless, as an individual operation congruent with all others, the City of Delray Beach Office of the City Manager does employ a mission statement, and that is to provide transparent, efficient, and responsive leadership that advances the strategic goals of the City Commission, enhances community well-being, and ensures the effective delivery of public services through ethical governance, innovation, and inclusive engagement. So I thought it was appropriate to highlight that as well. As far as the Office of the City Manager staff alignment, of course, you have one city manager, one assistant city manager, two executive administrative assistants, one working closely with the city manager for respective support and activities, one assigned to work closely with the mayor and city commission. You all know that quite well. However, there are other divisions of the Office of the City Manager that necessitate a highlight. There is the Economic Development Manager, Education and External Opportunities Manager, Special Events Manager, and the Office of Sustainability and Resiliency. And interestingly enough, we do have an opportunity to achieve some efficiencies in operations as we engage fiscal year 2025-2026. And that is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Office of Sustainability and Resiliency, it was initially operating via a two-person structure. It has been determined that this can be accomplished, the goals and objectives as it relates to sustainability and resiliency can be accomplished via the involvement of one position at this time. Via this past Friday information letter report, May 16, 2025, I provided a fairly specific report in terms of what that looks like and what the focus is moving forward, given the opportunities made available. As I highlighted a little while ago, the principal role and function of the Office of the City Manager with the proposed budget in any given fiscal year is to do what can be accomplished to identify efficiencies in operations, and this is likewise a meaningful contribution to that effect. More information will be forthcoming as we continue to administer those initiatives and get to the best place possible. Nevertheless, that is the proposal for fiscal year 2025-2026 moving forward. An additional observation relates to grant funding. The City of Delray Beach, up until now, the current fiscal year, is that grants have been awarded to different schools via these educational initiatives in that regard. Grants are likewise not anticipated to be provided directly to the schools. Rather, the City of Delray Beach not only provides grants to achievement centers that operates within the schools. So that's resulting in an additional decrease in budgetary expenditures. Likewise, the reduction in budget operations is anticipated to be about 7.6%, or a reduction of about $151,000. Current fiscal year, $2.1 million. Upcoming fiscal year, $1.9 million and change is what's anticipated in that regard. So again, the principal role and function, leadership and guidance citywide in terms of the chief administrative officer role, not to mention the other divisions of the Office of the City Manager to be in position as we continue to move forward in this regard. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we are.
Could I ask?
Yes, please.
I'm not sure that I share your vision with respect to sustainability department. I thought at last year's goal setting, we talked about how important that department truly is, and that it should be a part of pretty much our decision making across the board in the city. Maybe
Correct.
with respect to development, what type of foliage is appropriate for developments. In every department, there can be some aspect of consideration of sustainability and the future. And I don't know that I feel like that's a place where we should be looking to save money. And I'm sure I'm very happy with what's going on currently. It's no disrespect to the employees, but we typically have a director and we have somebody who is a staffer. We have stuff going on, and we should be doing more in that area. What about our climate action plan, which I thought was going to be on the agenda, and now.
That will soon be forthcoming.
Okay. My position is, I don't think that, I don't want to see that department decreasing. I'd like to see it increasing over time.
The Office of the Sustainability and Resiliency, not terribly long ago, was a one-person endeavor. It's only been a two-person endeavor for about 3 fiscal years or so. Now,
I think it's less, but that was the point. The goal was to grow that department and have it be an integral part of the city in our decision making. And I don't know how we can, we talk up here all the time about how that's so important, sustainability. And I don't know how we walk that talk if we're eliminating people from that department positions. So that's my feeling on that. I don't feel like that is necessarily something we should be doing. And also, the grant funding, are you saying you're taking out, you're still having you're taking out Pine Grove and the Community Child Care Center of Delray?
there's a collaboration with the achievement centers to operate within the schools, and so it's a bit of a shift in that regard. However, via other resources that is being contemplated, we just referenced this as part of the Office of the City Manager's operation.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the Community Child Care Center, but that's a substantial decrease. Are they aware that that's coming in the next fiscal year?
It's actually a shift in terms of the budgeted resources. It will be allocated as a function of operations elsewhere.
Okay, so it is not, they're not losing money.
It's
they're
not
just
an
getting
impact
it
to them in that
elsewhere.
regard. I'm speaking from a budgetary standpoint and with regards to the Office of the City Manager. It's not a direct impact.
Okay, because I wouldn't, I understand. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bernstein? Commissioner Moore? I'm going to have a couple follow-up questions, but I'm going to put them to you in writing on some of the line items I'm seeing. So, no. Well, I mean, I'm just noticing in education where, you know, that's been something I've been hounding on for a while. You know, I'm seeing a 27% increase in personnel services and a 49% increase in operating expenditures.
Those are to be finalized as we prepare for June 10th, so I'll be addressing those at that time.
Okay, but I mean, that seems high.
I agree. That's why I was thinking the grant money might be going into another, but.
No.
Okay.
And I know there's only so much money to go around, and I'd like to see it shifting in places where maybe a little better.
The purpose today is to highlight what has
That's
been
why I said I was going to
identified, and
follow
we
it up
go
in
from
writing.
there. So for that
I still will
reason,
follow it up in writing, because there's a couple of comments that I have on all of them, but that's fine.
and once again, as I've emphasized during the previous budget workshops, we are still working to achieve opportunities for granularity, balanced budget recommendations, and working with all departments to get to that place. For the most part, will be done in preparation for the June 10th engagement, and that includes the references you've just made.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been going through the budget you originally gave us on the line. I mean, the 600 and on, so it's all marked up. But I'm just saying, yes, fine.
All on a preliminary basis, and I understand
Understood.
that.
Understood.
Does anybody else have input regarding the sustainability department and the reduction of a staff
Well,
member?
I want to find out. That was one of my questions. I'm trying to find out exactly the scope of what everyone is doing, because I don't understand. I don't mind paying, but I don't understand what we're doing for the money. And everything to me is about what bang are we getting for our buck?
Right.
Because we are approaching leaner times, and I have to be very careful that everything I spend that it shows me a return. That's also another question that I was going to have. So find out exactly, expand that for me so that I understand what is the role of the place now based on the changes. What are we doing
Right.
and what aren't we doing? And so I don't know that yet.
Right, and I think if we're looking to implement the climate action plan, then we need to figure out what that entails in terms of
Yeah, and
necessity.
I got a lot of questions on the climate action plan too. So I mean, there's
And again, that will be forthcoming soon, as I've highlighted in last Friday's report. And this is an interdepartmental endeavor, so it's not a function of one particular individual, one particular office. Other departments who are involved in that initiative will be engaged as well.
Right.
And therefore, there's an expectation that this is an interdepartmental function, and we'll explain how that works. So part of what's currently underway is Mr. Chedester, in this case, is being directed to work closely with the respective departments involved in the implementation of the climate action plan so as to achieve full input, contributions, and what specific outcomes are to be achieved as a result. More work has to be done in that area. That will be accomplished over the next couple of weeks, followed by a presentation of recommendations to the City Commission regarding its adoption.
See, as with communications, I understand when you, additional services, that's new money. I just don't understand when you increase, and I don't understand what the money's being spent for. I understand if we have, like, we're doing a school or we're doing this, that I understand. Those are new added services, they're gonna cost money. So that's where I kind of am trying to understand better what the numbers mean. And
Will do.
what we're getting for it, that's all.
And my interest would just be the goals and the plan for that department.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Any other questions? No. Okay, next.
Thank you.
Mr. Doc, who do you got?
I believe the Department of Information Technology is queued up, ready to go.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Jay Stacy, Chief Technology Officer and Director of the Information Technology Department. With me is Don Maurice, our Assistant IT Director. He's the one that really actually prepares all the nitty-gritty details of our budget, so I thought I'd have him here just in case you guys got down into the nitty-gritty. So first, let's talk a little bit about who the IT department is. The first two groups you see are administration and help desk, and those are probably the ones you see the most, which consists of me and Don and our wonderful help desk team that serve as our frontline support. Now you see them here supporting our live stream commission and board meetings, but they are also the ones that are here every day supporting our employees for just about any type of computer issue.
Right.
But there are those in IT that you don't see very often. A top-notch team of very technical individuals that support our back-end systems. Our infrastructure group that handles everything in our data center and all the networking equipment that is distributed all across the city. Our technical strategists that work closely with other departments to implement new software and recommend solutions to improve and streamline operations. Our GIS group has done an amazing job of creating a centralized repository of all of the city's geospatial and addressing data, and so that all departments receive the most accurate and up-to-date information. And this is the same data used by police and fire dispatch. And last but certainly not least, our cybersecurity team, protecting us from over 40,000 attack attempts each month and educating our end users on how to spot email scams. So this slide just shows a list of the services that we provide. I won't cover all these right now, but they're there for your reference. This is the slide I really want to talk about. I mean, as you can see from the backup material, when I came here 5 years ago, our IT budget has increased every single year. So going to what you were saying, Mayor, I wanted to show you guys what you're getting for that money. So number one, living in a hurricane-prone region, we need to be prepared for disasters. So instead of relying on a single local data center, we are renting space in a hardened co-location center in Tallahassee, where we back up and mirror our mission-critical systems. If we lose our local data center due to fire, wind, or water damage, we can fail over to the Tallahassee hot site for our critical functions. We've also implemented a cloud-based telephone system and issued laptops instead of desktops to all of our office employees so they can work from anywhere in the event of a disaster or another pandemic. Our cybersecurity team was non-existent 5 years ago. We had outside consultants that would come in with their virtual clipboards and tell us what we needed to do. Well, we knew what we needed to do, we just didn't have the time or the resources. So we fired those consultants, hired our own IT security manager, and reorganized to build a team that actually does the work that we need to secure our systems. And that relieves the rest of the team to implement new systems and online services. Our technical strategist, also a non-existent role 5 years ago, has implemented multiple outwardly facing systems, most notably the online permitting solution. But they've also implemented systems to dramatically improve internal operations, such as the time and attendance system. No more paper time cards hand entered into the payroll system each pay period. We also implemented Adobe digital signatures, so documents can move through internal processes electronically instead of through inter-office mail. And of course, the mobile app. That's been a welcome addition to our suite of digital services. Now, all of these enhancements have impacted our budget, but our public expects and appreciates these services, and we're doing our part to enrich the lives of our residents and business owners. Now, if you're thinking that's an awful lot of wins in a relatively short amount of time, excuse me, you're right. These accomplishments and others are the reason we've been recognized 2 years in a row as a top 10 digital city by the Center for Digital Government. Now let's get to some numbers. We were actually able to lower our expenses this year, even as we added more services, by way of some contract renegotiations and other factors. But employee expenses have increased, resulting in a net increase of our budget by 4%. Some of those increases were beyond our control, such as costs for pension and insurance. But two items I want to highlight, salaries and overtime. Aside from regular merit increases expected next year, some of our employees received increases after the latest class and compensation study. And we also reclassified 2 vacancies to higher level positions, allowing us to bring in talent with the right mix of skills and experience needed to support our city's technology goals. Our overtime has increased mostly because of meeting support. This past year, we took on live streaming of the DDA and the CRA meetings, and we are expecting to begin live streaming the code enforcement meetings very shortly. This is a slide on some of our recent projects. I won't go into all those, but they're there for your reference. So thanks, and we're here for any questions.
Great. Commissioner Markert?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by what you're talking about in Tallahassee with backing things up there. That's brilliant. I was at Office Depot when our headquarters got blown down, and we were out of business for 2 months, which Wall Street did not applaud us for because we weren't ready. So I think that's I was unaware of that. I think that's great. So you also support police and fire.
We do. We support their infrastructure. We support their networking and other things like that, internet access. But they do have a dedicated team that supports their software, their specific criminal justice software.
Okay. And you're also, I saw in one of the slides, you're supporting the Real-Time Crime Center as well?
We help with the infrastructure for the networking and those type of things. We also did that for the police camera project.
Because those are very impressive projects for a city of our size, and that I've toured it, and that technology is awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good.
Yeah, that was a big win for us last year when we submitted the application for the top 10 digital city.
Yeah, it was amazing that we got like $1 million, right?
956,000.
That'll work. That'll work.
Frank, give it to me yourself.
Well, thank you guys. This is wonderful. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thick 6 feet long. Commissioner Burns.
How do you follow that, Angela?
I just want to say thank you. I'm just proud to know that Delray is a 21st century city, and congratulations on your top 10 classification.
Thank you.
Digital. Thank you.
I need it.
There's
And then
we
the
have
size. Commissioner?
Yeah, I would also say thank you. I remember, Mr. Stacy, when you came on here, and we are so fortunate to have you. And you're right about your whole team, especially Darcy, who was extremely helpful yesterday when my Adobe Reader wasn't working. But I'm excited that we're finally getting the code meetings online so people can see and view them. Thank you for that, and thank you for everything, and reducing your budget to boot.
I mean, you guys do so much, and I think it's. But my question to you relates to the DDA as an independent agency. Are we getting reimbursed for our costs in supporting their operations?
I don't think we are. We are, the CRA, we do recoup some of those costs,
Right.
but I don't think so for the DDA.
Why?
So that's a follow-up discussion as we prepare for the upcoming fiscal year as well. So we will be proceeding in that regard. So I look forward to coming back with an update in terms of what that looks like soon.
Yeah, if we're paying overtime for our people to support their meetings, they are an independent taxing agency.
There aren't any overtime expenditures involved in that particular consideration because the time of the meetings that take place. So there is an opportunity to be efficient yet sharing some of the costs associated with the operation. Being that their meetings typically take place every second Monday, 12 noon, it does not impact or necessitate overtime whatsoever. So it is very
But our
manageable.
personnel is sitting here during their meetings.
Right.
But this, what I'm getting at is this cost recovery function within normal operations, and that's the point of it all.
But that's a valid point that you made, though, Mayor, because when they're sitting here, they're not, completing the other tasks that they need to do. So
Right.
you're
So
exactly right.
they're an independent taxing agency. I think we treat them as such. Thank you very much. Who's next? I don't know. The clerk's next?
Madam City Clerk, would you feel free to be inclined.
Yeah, I don't have a fancy PowerPoint, but I do have a PowerPoint. Yes. Can you go to not that one, the one that says Office of the City Clerk? Yes. Alexis Givings, Office of the City Clerk. My presentation is going to be very short. That's just a list of the staff in the Office of the City Clerk. We have a City Clerk, Deputy City Clerk, Executive Assistant, Board Liaison. Administrative Assistant, Agenda Coordinator, and I did neglect to add Administrative Office Coordinator, which we just hired. Okay. How am I doing this? There it is. So this is just a list of some of the services that is provided by the Office of the City Clerk. We have records management, municipal elections, city commission meetings, custodian of records, residency activity cards. We do e-recordings, public notices, Sun Sentinel publications, ordinance codifications, boards and committee appointments, document certification, agenda preparations and submissions. We're responsible for the city commission meeting minutes, registrar training and processing of contracts, agreements, resolutions, and ordinances. Okay. And right here is, okay. So here is a list of, it shows what our amended fiscal year 2025 budget is, what the fiscal year 2026 budget is, and what the difference is. So most of our budget really consists of our personnel. That's the gist of our budget. Our operating expenses was reduced by $48,000. There was not an election for 2025. However, it seems like there was some money budgeted for that. For 2026, we are having a municipal election, so you would see that increase of $160,000. And that is basically it. I will answer any questions if you
Great. Commissioner
have
Burns,
any.
would you like to go first?
No, thank you I have no questions.
Commissioner Casal?
Yeah, can you explain the decrease in the revenues, change of service revenues?
So hold on. I think that what that is for 2025, we were budgeted for $320,000. And based on the trend that we're receiving from our liens,
Okay,
we don't anticipate receiving that amount.
got it, because 2024 actual was 226. So I see what you're saying. You anticipated a growth of 100,000, but you didn't, so you're going back
Correct.
down.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Mark?
Yeah, just a quick question. Alexis, what drives that 160,000 when the election is coming up?
So basically, I contacted the supervisor of elections to find out if there were going to be any changes in the municipal election costs, and they're about the same. So
Okay.
they're the ones that provide, they kind of give us an estimate
Yeah.
of what it's going to cost the municipality.
Okay, I'm sure they know, so that makes sense. Thank you.
I don't see any revenues from sign recycling, from all the campaign signs. Anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The final presentation this afternoon, budget workshop. Director of Finance or Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Henry Dakowitz, to represent the Department of Finance.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and all esteemed guests. Finance Department budget is pretty straightforward. Vast majority of our expenses, obviously, are personnel services. The personnel in the administrative side is going up 2%, and the operating expenditures have a reduction of almost 2%. So the total, and when they call it administration, it's really finance, budgeting, accounting, everything excluding purchasing. And given our environment, and especially personnel costs, a total increase of 1.5% seems very reasonable. On the purchasing side, personnel costs are going up less than 1%, and the operating expenditures have a drop of 1.3%. So their total is going down by 0.5%. And based on the weighted average, with a grand total, our increase is $43,000 for the year, or 1.3%. And what we try to do is broaden and deepen the range of services and the level of services that we provide. So this is the expenditure side. A lot of things are hidden and not visible, whether it's doing personnel services or payroll services more efficiently, working with new computer systems, new procedures, the budget process, where we've tried to add more granularity and have all of these meetings to give you an earlier participation. So we think on the expense side, we've been very controlled and reasonable, and on the level of service, we keep trying to do better, bigger and better with the service, with the resources that we have. Any questions?
All right, thank you very much. Commissioner Casale, any questions?
thank
Commissioner
you.
Burns?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Marker?
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
I like this 1.3% very much.
You like what?
I like the 1.3% very much. I think you should share it among all the departments. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll
Anyway.
give everybody a quarter.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other things you need to bring up?
No, that simply concludes today's workshop engagement. Again, 1 of 4, the 4th of 4. We simply now look forward to engaging with the City Commission June 10th to discuss aggregate opportunities, a couple different options relative to the total fund budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 now that we've completed these exercises. From there, of course, we'll be in position to engage in that feedback and observations to provide a formal proposed budget recommendation in July. So we began the proposed budget process significantly earlier based on feedback and guidance offered by the Commission to the Office of the City Manager via the current fiscal year process. So therefore, a lot has been accomplished in this regard. Much work remains to be accomplished between now and the next couple of weeks so that we can offer you all a cogent presentation during the June 10th workshop meeting. So that's 3 weeks from now. Now that we've had this experience, we look forward to offering even tighter considerations based on some of the observations and communications shared. Nevertheless, the focus is to maintain an aggregate level of service. When I mean aggregate, I'm discussing interdepartmental all operations. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I yield at this time.
Great, thank you very much. We're now open for public comment from anyone wishing to speak on any topic or agenda item other than quasi-judicial, which there are none. But each person from the public will have an opportunity to speak. You'll have 3 minutes. Please come to the lectern, give your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes. Seeing none, thank you. Oh,
Could I
sorry.
just make
You
one
want to come
personal
as a member of
comment?
the public, or you want to,
No, this is as CFO.
yes?
Before you do that, Mr. Mayor, I would encourage
let me
you
close-
to address the public comment
Yeah, let me-
section, please.
I'm going to,
Oh, I thought it
hearing
was
none, I'm
done.
going to
I'm
close
sorry.
public comment. Good, go ahead.
Now you can go.
On a personal level, I want to attest to Alexis's training in Legistar. She has spent numerous, I'd say minutes, but it's probably more, on trying to get me up to speed, so I just wanted to vouch for that and thank her publicly.
Thank you very much. Is there any other